All right, let's talk about lean. You've definitely heard this word, right? It gets tossed around in meetings, kind of like synergy or paradigm shift. You know, those big corporate buzzwords. But what if I told you it's actually not a buzzword at all? What if it's a whole way of thinking that can seriously change how a business works from the inside out? Today, we're going to peel back the layers and figure out what lean is really all about. So, let's get into it. So we really have to start right here with a question that probably hits a little close to home for a lot of us. Just think about all those big initiatives, you know, the ones Six Sigma, TQM. They get launched with all this fanfare and ambition, and then they just kind of fade away. And we usually blame it on things like not enough budget or not enough time. But what if the real reason is something way simpler and honestly, way more important?
You know, this quote from Ed M. Day just nails it. The problem isn't that we don't have smart ideas. The real issue, what he's pointing out, is where we put our focus. We get so obsessed with just installing the program, we totally forget to look at what's actually happening on the ground in the real world. We're focused on the training session, not the actual work. And that's exactly where Lean says, hold on, let's try something different.
And here is the absolute core idea. It's this difference right here. So many failed programs treat improvement like it's a toolkit, right? Just a bunch of different methods you can throw at a problem. But true lean, it's not a toolkit. It is a thinking system. It's a completely different way of seeing things. It's about managing the entire system that creates value for a customer, not just fixing a few broken parts here and there.
So what's this thinking system all about? Well, it's built on one single-minded mission, an all-out war on waste.
And the main enemy in this war has a name, muda. That's the Japanese word for waste. But here's the kicker. The definition is what matters. Waste isn't what you think is a waste of time. It's anything, and I mean anything, that the customer would not be willing to pay for. Any little step, any process, any waiting around that doesn't add value in your customer's eyes, that's waste, period.
And to make this super clear, Toyota's legendary engineer, Taichi Ono, actually identified these 7 classic types of waste. We're talking about really common stuff, like making more of something than you need right now. That's overproduction. Or even something as simple as people just waiting around for the next step in a process. These are the things that lean thinkers are trained to hunt down and get rid of.
So how do you actually fight this war on waste? Well, it's not with random attacks. There's a clear 5-step battle plan. First, you figure out what value even means, but from the customer's perspective. Then, you map out every single step it takes to deliver that value. That's your value stream. The whole goal then is to get that value to flow smoothly, no stops, no interruptions. And it should be pulled by customer demand, not pushed out based on a forecast. And that last step, it's the most important. You never, ever stop. You're always looking for perfection. Which brings us to a really, really important point. Lean isn't something you just brainstorm about in a conference room. It's something you do. It's an action.
I absolutely love this quote. It just cuts through all the noise. You can't make a fancy PowerPoint deck and suddenly, poof, you're lean. It doesn't work that way. The entire philosophy that Toyota built is all about learning by doing. It's about getting your hands dirty and actually solving real problems.
And the engine that powers all of this learning by doing is something called Kaizen. It's another Japanese term, and it basically means change for the better. But this isn't about huge, top-down projects. It's about creating a culture where every single person at every level feels empowered to make small, constant improvements every single day.
And Kaizen isn't just about good intentions. It's got a method, a scientific one. It's called the plan, do, check, act cycle. You plan a solution for a problem you've found. Then you actually do it. You try it out. Then you check the data. Did it work? Did it make things better? And if it did, you act to make that the new standard. And then you start the whole cycle over again on the next problem. It's this never-ending loop of getting better.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but a little 1980s factory floor? But here's the beautiful thing about Lean being a thinking system. It can evolve. It adapts to the challenges we face today. For example, look at Green Lean. This is so smart. It takes that idea of waste and expands it. Now, waste isn't just wasted time or materials. It's wasted electricity, unnecessary carbon emissions, or using too much water. The goal shifts to what they call a triple bottom line. You're trying to win economically, environmentally, and socially, all at the same time. So if Green Lean was a major evolution, the next one is a revolution. It's about taking all these proven, powerful principles and hooking them up to a rocket engine. And that rocket fuel? It's the one thing we have more of than anything else today: data. So, welcome to the era of digital lean. This is where modern tech, think AI, IoT sensors, big data, doesn't replace the old principles. No, it amplifies them. It gives you the super precise real-time information you need to make lean faster, smarter, and way more powerful than it ever was before.
But, of course, a new environment means a new kind of waste. Digital waste. On one side, you've got passive waste. That's just not using the data and digital tools you have. But then there's active waste, which might be worse. Having mountains of data, but no good way to manage it. So the right info never gets to the right person at the right time. Digital lean is all about getting rid of both. Okay, check this out. This chart is basically the proof in the pudding. See those two lines? That red one, that's your traditional lean. I mean, it works, right? You get that steady improvement. But then, boom, it just flattens out. It hits a wall, a performance ceiling. But then, look at the blue line. That's digital lean. It doesn't just hit the ceiling, it smashes right through it. It's a total game changer, accelerating performance and unlocking a level of potential you just couldn't reach before.
And this is not just some abstract theory. Look at this. A digital lean approach can literally double the savings you'd get from traditional methods. Take a look at the bars for inventory reduction. With traditional lean, in black, you top out around 40% savings. With digital lean, in red, you can get up to 60%. That is a massive, data-driven leap forward.
So when you put all these pieces together, it becomes pretty obvious that lean, far from being some dusty old buzzword, is actually more critical and more relevant right now than ever before.
This wheel diagram does a great job of showing how it all connects. It's like a virtuous cycle. You can see how real-time data helps you find the root cause of a problem, which lets you shift from just preventing failures to predicting them. Each piece of this wheel makes the other pieces stronger, creating this powerful engine for making smarter, faster decisions.
Now let's be real, it's not always a smooth ride. The biggest hurdle, as it so often is cultural. Surveys show that a huge chunk of the resistance comes from middle management, so the solution has to be cultural too. You have to start measuring success differently, stop focusing only on traditional financial numbers, and start rewarding people for finding and eliminating waste. And this is huge. You have to build a no-blame culture, where problems are treated as opportunities to get better, not as a reason to point fingers.
So let's land the plane with this final thought. We've spent this whole time talking about how lean isn't some off-the-shelf toolkit you can just buy and install. It's a mindset. It's a culture, it's a complete thinking system. And if all that is true, then the big important question isn't what tools should we get? The real question, the one you should walk away with, is this. What is the very first, maybe even tiny, step you can take to start changing how your organization thinks?